Hello everyone. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends upon the time that you are watching. Today we are going to help you with some of key offering, that is the IBM Cloud Pack. In that particular, specifically, we are going to take up IBM Cloud Pack for multi-cloud management. You may wonder what we are going to discuss. Along with me, I have my friend and colleague Shiva. Hi Shiva, how are you?
Hey, hey, good, Gautam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Shiva is one of the core deeps, specialist on the infra part. He is well versed in VMware and its related technology, and I take care of the cloud pack part. So we join together to provide some valuable information to the outside world. To start with, I'm not going to go deep in multi-cloud management, what is all about. At the high level, certainly it is a control plane which would help you to manage your life cycle of your management applications, and it helps you to enforce the security governance for your applications across the multi-cloud, and also it helps you to manage your infrastructure. So in this particular video we are going to talk about the third piece that I was talking about, infrastructure management. That could be a situation where you might be using VMware as your strategic infrastructure um, uh, partner. In such case, you may have a VMware as well as a different cloud provider. Given that current situation, you may need to have a control plane which would help you to manage your infrastructure as well as the application that has been deployed on a multiple cloud. So let's not get into the application part of it. Let's talk about how we can quickly provision the required virtual machine using multi-cloud management. Cloud Pack for multi-cloud management also helps you to manage the life cycle of your virtual machines. For this, there are certain things to be done on the VMware side as well. That's why I have Shiva, who's going to talk about what is that to be done on the VMware side, so that you can seamlessly provision the virtual machine from IBM multi-cloud management. Shiva, do you have any questions before we delve into?
No, I have only one more point to mention here. As you rightly said, as part of this demo, we will show how to manage the life cycle of a VM on VMware infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
However, the MCM can be integrated with other cloud providers like AWS, Azure, OpenStack, and as well as the Alibaba Cloud for managing the infrastructure lifecycle management using the single pane of glass approach. So for this demo, as you rightly said, we'll focus on VMware. However, this tool have the capability to integrate with a lot of other cloud service providers.
Okay, awesome, Shiva. Let's get started. So, I assume you are ready with your inputs on what has to be done on the VMware side. But before that, I wanted to talk about what has to be done on the multi-cloud management part to kickstart the process. Let's do it. So I'm going to, okay, so one more thing is, as a part of the prerequisite, there is a module called the Cloud Automation Manager, right? So I believe that is the prerequisite for you to progress in this with this particular demo. um, let me open up the Cloud Automation Manager.
Yep.
Oops.
So how do you open, I mean, how do you find your cloud automation manager module access links
Oh,
from the MCM?
Shiva, I'm extremely sorry. Yes, I have installed and configured, but I missed one key, configuration that I'm supposed to, do the last leg of configuration so that I can see a link in this particular automation infrastructure called Terraform, which I have not done. But I don't want to stop this demo. But it could be a straightforward instruction in the knowledge center but I would take this opportunity to tell the audience, is there other way to find that URL quickly? Let me show that. So in the home page, if you look at it, there is a visual web terminal. Open it. Okay, so we have the visual terminal. All you need to do is OC get route -n is the namespace. So you're trying to get the route of the cloud automation manager that has already been created. So then the moment you do so, you will get the route. All you need to do is copy the host, open up a new tab, HTTPS, so enter.
So Gautam, I have one doubt on the MCM modules.
Please tell me, Shiva.
So yeah, before starting this, right, you had mentioned CAM is a Cloud Automation Manager is one of the MCM module. Likewise, what are the other modules or capabilities which MCM supports?
Awesome. So that's a good question. If you look at it, let me open up the menu. Um, Let me come from top to bottom. All right. So in this case, if you look at it at the high level, you get to see the overview on topology. And when I say overview, this is the eagle eye view of your entire infrastructure related information, like how many cloud providers that you have, compute resources like Kubernetes nodes, VMs, cloud VMs, and the number of applications that has been deployed across various cloud providers, and the container applications, virtual machines. It also have the infrastructure related detail with respect to OpenShift. Also the compliance related with respect to the cluster, how many clusters that is compliant, non-compliant. Just because I have not created, I mean, to be honest, I don't have so much of cloud provider account for me to go and provision the required infrastructure so that I can deploy my workloads. You require deep pockets to do that. But to be honest, this provides the eagle eye view of multi-cloud management at the high level.
Yeah.
To answer your specific question, in automation infrastructure currently, as we speak, in the end of two quarter, I mean second quarter, I would say, Ansible automation, which is a key offering from Red Hat, which is Ansible Towers, right? And there is something called Cloud Forms. This is the Red Hat Cloud Forms, one of the premium product from Red Hat, which provides awesome and ample amount of features to manage your cloud infrastructures, right? And also
Yeah.
if you look at the clusters, it helps you to create the visibility on the Kubernetes cluster and OpenShift cluster that running on a desperate cloud providers, be it Google, AWS, Azure, AWS, all this crowd. And managing
Okay.
application is another application performance management, or CEM. From those aspects, from the microservices world, most of the customer they do want to go with a multi-cloud strategy. Given that current situation, how does this help, or rather how it
Yeah.
provides a seamless way to deploy your application in a multiple cloud, and also helps you to manage the governance risk from the site reliable engineer perspective. He may not know deep skills on the applications, right? At the same time, he
Right.
may not know deep skills on the operations. Somewhere he sits between, bridge the gap between the operators and the developers. And this tool will help the SRE to take a lot of their concerns out of their mind. And it also provides out of the box features with respect to application monitoring, infrastructure monitoring. From the monitoring perspective, administration side, it provides identity access management for you to integrate this with
Yeah.
your enterprise directory servers. So I believe that helps, Shiva, that quick recap or introduction.
Yeah. It'll. Yeah, it's a lot of information. Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
let's let's
Gautam.
let's move on,
And
Shiva.
really a lot of information, but as you rightly said, it's just yeah.
Okay, so you know let's move on to cloud automation manager. Okay, I missed it. Shiva, so if this is the entry
Yes.
point in the infrastructure automation, or we would call that as a service automation, right? Terraform and service automation. The step one, what we are supposed to do is, okay, so now we are on the home page of Terraform and service automation. As you know, the first step is connect to the cloud. So let's go with cloud connection. In this case, we are going to provision the virtual machine onto the VMware. The first thing that we are supposed to do is create a connection to the VMware vCenter server. So before I show you what I have created already, let me show you how to create a connection. This is the the step one. It is up to you whether to give a global access or do you want to give it to a specific namespace. So for this demo, I wanted to go with global access, and the second thing is the provider. In this case, VMware vSphere. That's a cloud provider. Second, I can provide some unique name, right? Then some description, something like that. You have to have this information like from your VMware specialist, vCenter server username, password, and the URL. So without this, you won't be able to. These are all the key. Then you can create it. I don't want to. Yes, yes, Shiva. Yes, Shiva.
Sorry to interrupt here, Gautam.
No
So
problem.
you had shown one interesting point in the cloud provider part. Uh, could you just show me what are the certified provider today you have for MCM? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So you have for Amazon, Google, Huawei. Wow. So these are all the certified cloud service provider who can be onboarded into MCM, right? That's
yeah,
the meaning of this provider.
that's right.
Excellent.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks, Gautam.
So I'm not going to click the create because let me show you what I have created already. So if you look at it, similar parameters that are provided are given the name and username, password for the vCenter server, right? So what do you think would be the next step, Shiva? So now you have given me all the details to create the cloud connections, and I believe blindly can I go and create a virtual machine by using the templates from the library, or do you want me to do any other steps before, Shiva?
No, once the cloud connection has been established, you can directly go and create a VM from template.
Okay.
But as part of the template, you would pass some information which is more specific to VMware, which is nothing but what data center which you want to use for the VM provisioning, the template ID, etc., which are all more specific to VMware. So probably you can go to that form and then walk me through what are the details which you need. And then I can log into the VMware server and get you those information.
That's an awesome idea. Let me do that. Let me go to the templates. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to provision a single virtual machine. When we are provisioning virtual machine, we should also have licenses. So I'm going to provision one Ubuntu virtual machines from through this template. So let me search for single virtual machine. Okay. So this is out of the box. Whatever that when you install and configure Cloud Automation Manager, you get to see this single virtual machine. Shiva, I'm going to make use of this template, and I'll tell you. But let's see how to go about. I'm going to deploy this. The moment I click on the deploy, I'm supposed to provide the required parameters like the namespaces. One more point. My apologies. I should have called it out before. I'm supposed to create one specific namespace. I've created one namespace in the OpenShift cluster, which is nothing but vSphere VMs. Instance name. Shiva, why don't you give me some good name?
Uh, Maybe say my demo VM.
Okay, great. And from the minus and underscore, I would say demo VM, and the connection is the one that we created in the previous step, and I'm going to leave it the default Terraform version. There are two versions supported, I believe, but currently I've configured only one. Here comes the key values that is required for you to succeed in this. This is where you have to have a specialist sitting next to you in the beginning stages till you understand what you are supposed to provide. Shiva, can you please provide what I'm supposed to provide for this cluster data center folder, so on and so forth?
Sure.
Do you want
So
to show? I mean, you can provide a name, but according to me, if you can show me what you have done on the VMware side, so that you can pull out these values and give it to me. Do you think that makes sense?
sure. Yeah, it makes more sense. Could you help me to find out what are the values which you need from MCM standpoint? Could you just read it out?
Okay, so here I'm supposed to provide
The forms in the form, what are the value? Yeah,
okay, vSphere cluster, data
sure.
center details,
Cluster name,
yes, and the folder name,
data center name, the name, and then you need the folder name. All right, what else?
um, virtual machine input variables.
That can be anything that's not coming from VMware.
Okay.
DNS server network standpoint, yes, that we can give. Okay, down.
DNS suffixes,
Take ID. Yeah.
delete template, disk volume, domain name, operating system ID, root disk size.
So you need a template ID.
Yep.
I'm just making note of all the VMware specific settings. Some of the settings can be directly come from your enterprise level. For example, your DNS server, those kind of information. It's more specific to your enterprise.
Okay.
For example, IBM.com, or it could be your testdomain.com, whatever. So, but for this demo purpose, I can supply some dummy domain names.
Okay.
Go down. What are the other information which you're looking for?
Root disk
You want to
size.
do the disk size. Okay. All right. Data store name.
Right.
Store name. Yeah. You want the network information. So your gateway IP and your virtual machine IP, and then you want the memory information. What is next? And then your vCPU. That's all. This all the information which you needed, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. So now I will connect you to the VMware vCenter console and show you
Okay.
where you can get this information.
I'll do
Just
one
remember
thing.
one.
Shiva, I will stop sharing. Why don't you share your screen and show from where you can pull out this information?
Sure, sure. I'm good.
Okay. So over to you, Shiva. So
This is your vCenter data center name, and then you wanted to know the resource pool group. There is a resource pool which is already created. If required, we can tell you how to create the new resource group. But that's a part of VMware admin. You don't have to worry from MCM standpoint. If you're really interested, we can show how your new resource group can be created using the using your vCenter server. So for this demo purpose, already created something called demo resource pool,
okay.
and then also there is a template, operating system template, which is pre-created for you, which is nothing but your Ubuntu um, uh, the Ubuntu server template. So this template, there is a standard template creation process where you install the operating system on vCenter server after installing a VM. just you can just right click and then convert this into a template. So that's how I created the template. That's a template available for the demo purpose. The name of the template is Ubuntu SRV template 01.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So from the data standpoint, you ask for the vSphere cluster name. So we have the vSphere cluster name, and then we wanted the data center name. So we have the Q Lab DCSCR data center, and then you wanted the folder name. So your folder name is nothing but your MCM VMS is a folder, and then you wanted the template ID. There is a template ID, as I said, it's already created.
Mm-hmm.
This is your template ID,
Mm-hmm.
which is Ubuntu SRV TPLT 01, and then the disk size can be randomly selected. It is not randomly. The size should not exceed whatever the data store which is part of your cluster. In the scenario, I have there are two data store which is created for this cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Data store 1, which is a local disk, and the data store 2, which is a completely NFS based data store. Right? There are two data store. You could see this is a NFS data store, and then if you select the data store 1, this is going to be a VMS6, which is sitting on the local disk. For this demo, I'm going to I'm going to supply the data store 1 specific information, and then if you look at the capacity, you have 622 gig of free space available. So we can take some space from the data store 1. And then we wanted to know the data store name as part of the parameters. So this is the data store 1, which we are going to supply. Um,
Oh,
Store 1, and yeah. So
awesome.
gateway IP, those, yes. You
Okay.
have a question, Gautam?
Yeah. So my point is, um, I mean, is is this a normal procedure on the VMware side that lot of things that you're supposed to do from the VMware provisioning perspective? Because I'm not a VMware specialist, so I'm just throwing a question back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, so these are the things which is created as per your enterprise architecture or solution policy,
Okay.
right? So you can have everything created, and then you leverage them or you onboard them onto your MCM, and you can use them. Or if you are using Ansible or Terraform script, there are APIs available. By using the API, you can also create this information on the fly. So best practice is you define your VMware blueprint and then use the blueprint information into your cloud orchestration or cloud management tools like MCM to provision and manage the workload.
Oh,
So here we created all this information, and then I'm supplying these parameters. However, you are using a Terraform or Ansible kind of tool on the backend. Those tools also have the provider facility for VMware. You can leverage those capability to create these resources on the fly. But generally, enterprise don't recommend creating such resources on the fly, except the CPU, memory, and hard disks.
oh, that's a great insight, Shiva. Thank you so much for the great insights. So, what do you think is the next step? Should I kickstart the VM provisioning by taking the values from you and kickstart the provision process? Can I try it?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you can do that. So just in the VMware console, I wanted to show you wanted some set of data.
Mm-hmm.
Those data are already created. Those data are already available in the vCenter server. I showed you where to pick up those data from vCenter server.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, but I'm glad that you are with me. I don't need to undergo the pain of, going through all this, from where, what, all those things. So, again, um, I'm going
Sure.
to make use of your skills to get those values and, kickstart the VM provisioning. Let me do that. If you can, give the
So
control.